Hey crew, go through some charts. I've got Bitcoin weekly up at the moment, so let's dive right in. At the moment, we're forming a nice triangle pattern at the moment on the weekly. We've got a fair way before we break out, but at the moment, what I'm looking at is this bearish momentum from the previous week and this week here, which is about to close tomorrow. So there's still a little bit of time left on it. As you can see, that wick there, the bullish movement got rejected. There's still bears around trying to push price down. So this close here, this is still a bearish candle. I do expect more downside, but we just did have a sell overnight. So I expect a CME gap that may get filled early in the week. And then from there, I look to possibly retest this trend line here. So I expect some downside to perhaps maybe 8,400, 8,000, between 8,200 and 8,400 once we close that CME gap. This vertical line here is the approximate date of the halving. So from there, we could quite possibly just get deeper into this triangle pattern. But what I don't want to see is a break of this trend line. If we do break this trend line, I think we'll accelerate to the downside quite quickly. We'll make a double bottom here at around 6,800 and possibly retest the 6,000 level there. So hopefully we can bounce off this trend line and push through the halving event and get back up towards the 11,000 mark and beyond. If we can break this level here, we'll most definitely be well and truly in a long-term trend. So pretty critical moment. I think the next 6 months of Bitcoin going from here, whether we're going to dive down deep or whether we can actually continue the trend up higher. This is the daily chart I've got up now for Bitcoin. So what I wanted to see for a trade was a nice retest of about the 0.5 fib, which would have lined up with this horizontal support and resistance and this trend line. That would have been an absolutely perfect spot to short. We didn't quite get there. We've got an EMA retest and a 0.38 fib. So looks like that pullback's over and we're accelerating to the downside now. So from here, we could make the double bottom at 8,500. That possibly lines up with the trend line on the weekly as well. So a couple of confluence factors there to see a little bit more downside on Bitcoin just in the short term. Long term, I'm still bullish at the moment, but I think we just need to retrace a little bit more based on this weekend's current movements. So as for looking for a trade, we just need to let the CME gap close out first because the CME gap is up about 9,100 mark. This candle here was on the weekend, so we are looking to close a gap at around 9,170, I think it was, or thereabouts. Let's just go 9,150, close enough. So that's quite a big gap that we need to close. So I'm going to be looking for a failure to close the gap, or if we just get a strong wick, look for a close back below 9,000 because we've got pretty strong support and resistance there. Nice break, retest, a break, and then we've broken back down again. Also got a third touch on this trend line, nice fib pullback. So this region here would be ideal for a short. I'll just be looking to take it down to about 8,500, just lining up with the weekly trend line and trading against the higher time frame overall trend too. You don't want to push it too far, but to enter a trade, we really do need a nice pullback first. I'm not willing to enter at any of these levels just here. So that's it for Bitcoin. Just a little bit of patience to see what happens the first couple of days of the week. Let's cross over to Ethereum. It's pretty much the same. Okay, Ethereum weekly now. Very much the same price action as Bitcoin weekly. As you can see here, the bullish move got rejected. Bears are still hanging around. We've got a pin bar mid-range of that weekly bearish engulfing candle. So bears are still floating around. I suspect them to step in again next week, but we just want to, as I said, wait and see what happens with the Bitcoin CME close. We're at a pretty crucial point too, 0.38 fib. We've also got pretty strong weekly support and resistance here. Break and retest, and then break and retest to the downside. So at the moment, we've closed just above this support structure, but if that lets go, we're going to see a deeper retrace. So not a great deal to see on the weekly. Over to the daily, enlarge this a bit. All right, so there's a pretty strong horizontal level there. Support broken, turned into resistance. We did break it, and now we're going to close right on it. So nothing really clear, nothing trade based on the daily. Ideally, I'd like another retest of this trend line. You can either trade it to support or look to take a deeper retrace as an Elliott wave correction. So 1, 2, 3 wave correction, ABC rather. Have a look at the 1 hour. All right, so we've got pretty good intraday horizontal support and resistance. So, actual fact, fibs down here. We're a long way from a fib retrace, but that's a pretty good horizontal level there. Trend line in here. So that trend line's broken. So if we do close back above this intraday level here, I don't want to short because you're trading straight into support. We would need to reject and price close below this horizontal level again. So break and retest to the downside. It won't meet a Fibonacci pullback, so it does carry extra risk, and then probably just take it down to these lows. So there's a possible trade there that may set up, not as clean because it's not a deep pullback, but we'd want to see some sort of flag or bearish pennant, something like that. All right, that's it for Ethereum. Have a look at Ripple. That's next on my radar. Okay, the first thing I want to point out is this is XRP USD perp swaps on the BitMEX chart. So due to low volatility, we had a whale mess around with the order book, and we got a spike down to just above 13 cents. Quite often these wicks get reclaimed, so I'm actually looking to trade down to this level. I just need a nice clean entry. So we can just break this support structure here. I think we'll start trending down aggressively, or at least initially, and then just start a slow, nice trend down all the way down, possibly to 13 cents. My first target is 17 cents, but we could actually go really deep. So this is one that I'm really looking for. I just want to try and get a nice clean position on it first before we enter. But the reason I'm aiming so low for this is these wicks quite often do get reclaimed. So I'm looking to take advantage of that, but we just need to get an entry right first. And this is what I'll be looking for on Ripple USD. We've got a trend line here which broke. It actually broke and retest. I didn't even see this. I just drew this in this afternoon before this video. I was in bed when Bitcoin and everything sold off, and we got a nice retest there. So that's actually a perfect entry. What I'll be looking for is a nice clean pullback to some of these fib levels here, maybe a 0.38, an EMA rejection, and then we'll look to take the trade to this support level, and we'll see how it behaves. We'll either close it or bulletproof it, maybe close part of the trade and look to trade through it. If we break this level here, that's when I think we'll just continue to trend down all the way to 17, maybe 13 cents down here, which is where that wick is. So that's a 45% decrease with 10 or 15x leverage. This could be a massive, massive trade. So it's really important that we're patient. We get in a nice clean entry point of value, and we just don't panic. We just stay calm and let price action do its thing. Don't close too early. Don't tighten the stop too much. Just let it play out. I've just got the weekly chart up quickly. This is the Binance chart for XRP USD, and we've got our 15 cent mark here. So we've got a nice falling wedge here. This is actually a nice pattern, but we're definitely well and truly in a downtrending market. There's nothing here. Everything's still lower highs and lower lows. So until then, nothing's changing. I'm still bearish on Ripple, and I'll be looking to find the bottom of this falling wedge, or this level here, about 15 cents. So as I said, 17 cents is my first target, and we could possibly go as low as 13 cents based on that wick on the BitMEX chart. So that's a really nice rejection, bearish candle rejecting horizontal level and the weekly 50 EMA followed by bearish momentum. So there's absolutely no reason to go long on Ripple in the short term. I just need to point out though, we do actually have an inverse head and shoulders possibly forming, but the momentum is pretty strong on this. So just keep an eye out for that in case that inverse head and shoulders plays out. But that shoulder can still come down to 20 cents before it actually starts turning around, and there's no horizontal support structure there either to support this inverse head and shoulders. So just keep an eye on that. I don't think that will end up playing out. I think we'll retest these lows here. Ripple's my number one on my watch list at the moment.